So seeing as it's like Rona times at the moment, I thought that today's exercise with the Vend, who's about to spook at something whilst I'm holding a camera, the Vend and I are going to do an exercise where we have 3 40-gallon drums and some poles, and we're going to see how many different exercises we can do with those 3 drums. So I thought for anyone out there who doesn't have a lot of jumping equipment or who really wanted to, for example, learn how to jump an apex at home and to be able to build those, today's exercise is going to include apexes. I'll do some skinnies as well. I'm going to do some curving lines. I'm just going to basically try and jump them every single way I can. So at the moment we're currently having a spookathon at oh my god, I've got one hand on the long reins. This is going really well. Hang on 2 seconds. Okay. Oh, potatoes. I am a 4-star eventer and that is terrifying. Oh, you're so brave. Look how beautiful you are. You're stunning. Look at your beautiful hair. It's so clean. I shampooed it last night. Well done. Good boy, Vic. Who put those there? So mean to put those there. Just like you to admire the arena that I raked last night. Surely other people that rake, this is so therapeutic. It's like a massive Zen garden. Any hoodle, I think we're okay with this. So today's apex lesson is going to start on the whiteboard because I figure this is a really easy way to describe how I work out where I want to jump an apex. So an apex generally looks like a piece of pizza or a wedge of cheese. And what I do is I draw a line directly through the center to divide the triangle in half. So the next thing I want to do is I want to work out where I want to jump it. So I want to jump it about 1/3 or 1/4 of the way from the point. So if that's halfway here, then 1/4 of the way is there. And so actually what I've done is I've made a cross. It's kind of crooked, but if I turn it this way, you can see how we've kind of made a cross. It's a bit like a Jesus cross. So that's my formula, is divide the apex in half and then go 1/3 to 1/4 away from the point, and that is the line that you want to jump it on. The reason we want to be able to do this formula is because if you approach an apex and you straighten up the front of the fence and jump it in this direction, yes, you reduce the amount of opportunity for the horse to duck out, but you actually make the back of the fence a lot further away and you risk jumping into the apex. So if it's an open apex, it's not filled in and it's quite wide, the risk is that the horse doesn't quite make it over the back rail. Alternatively, if you come in and you straighten up the back of the fence, you increase the angle on the front rail here, and this obviously makes it extraordinarily easy for the horse to run out at the open end. So this is why my formula of dividing the fence in half, you then make sure that you've got exactly the same angle from the front as you have to the back. So this angle here should equal that angle there. Mind you, that is the only bit of maths besides working out farriers, bills and show jumping distances that I have ever used from school. But anyway, that is my formula. So I'll go and build it on the arena and you'll be able to see how we use these triangle patterns. So we're going to put 1 drum here, 1 drum there, and 1 drum here. And by using portable drums, we can actually open and close up the angle, so we can make it quite narrow, or we can stretch it right out to 90 degrees. So I've just drawn what I drew on the whiteboard tutorial in the sand. So huge benefit with having a sand arena is that you can draw lines on it. So we're looking at our apex this is the way you'd approach it. So you can see here I've drawn a line in the sand, and this is indicating to me 1/4 to 1/3 of the way from the pointy end is where I want to jump it. And I've extended the line onto the other side too, so that you remain absolutely straight on landing, as well as having a guideline on takeoff. And then the other line I've drawn is one to divide the apex into equal front and back angles. So it should be exactly through the center. So where these two lines meet in the middle, X marks the spot. Sorry, there's a shadow there as well, but you can see here is where our direction of travel meets the center of the apex, which divides it exactly in half, and that's where you jump it. So I've actually drawn these lines on the sand and jumped them with the lines there, and I actually find that really, really helpful. You could use cones on the other side too. Make sure you've got to go through cones at the front and the back, particularly if you're on a grass surface and you can't draw lines in the sand. And I'm using the barrels on their sides to start with because it's quite straightforward. You want to make your apex really easy to start with. You can bring these barrels in and bring your poles in as close as you want. So it kind of then becomes more of an oxer than an apex. And then as you've become comfortable, you can spread them out. And then clearly if you have some dogs, they will definitely help you with the exercise. Then you can move them out to as wide as you want them to be. I'm just going to start with mine maybe about here. Right, because Vendi's done them before, but the height's not going to be that big at this point in time. So now we've made it bigger and it's at its full height with the drums standing up. And then this does become a little bit more of a test of accuracy as well. Anyway, I haven't made it any wider, so we'll just start with it at the same width and we'll see how we go. Come on, Pierre. My next trick, this is where we make the apex a 90 degree, or it's almost 90 degree jump. So I'm going to jump it like a normal apex, and then I've added in, there's another few ways that you can jump this exercise. It doesn't mean you have to have it up on its full height barrels. You can do exactly the same thing with the barrels lying down on their sides, but I've put a placing pole just on the outside, and I'm going to use this center barrel as an arrowhead as well. So from where the camera is facing, you can see how this actually looks like the point of an arrow, and that is where the name arrowhead came from, because we used to jump fences like this drum with the wings falling away from either side. So
So anyway, let's give it a go. Obviously I've jumped the apexes before, but I actually haven't done this particular exercise of arrowhead on Vendi before, so you'll be first to see baptism by fire. Okay. Now, admittedly, Vendi is making this look really easy, and don't forget that he is a 4-star level eventer and he's done a Grand Prix show jumping around. He's pretty experienced, and I have schooled a lot of this stuff with him. Mind you, when I first got him, I did have trouble running out to the right, so I've gone back to basics with him, and we've rebuilt our partnership, and we regularly practice these things so that both of us are on exactly the same page, and he knows exactly what it is that I'm going to ask him to do. So although it does look easy, there has been a lot of time spent practicing this stuff with barrels on their sides, making them quite narrow, and basically, I want it to feel like he looks at that barrel and he lines it up and he's on missile lock to it. So lots of schooling, very good boy, very proud of him. And so in the next one, I'll start using the barrels in some skinnies, and we can practice all sorts of ways to do those.